So again, everybody, happy Friday. Excited to be here. So we are here with the team. We have Patrick representing for Solareum on Solana. These guys, again, really excited to have them here. Bit of confusion. There is another project with a similar name, completely different preference or focal point of their project. So again, just wanted to touch on that. But what these guys are doing with their Solana-based trading bot and overall kind of trading ecosystem that they're building up is really impressive. They hit around 4 million all-time highs since their launch on November 30th, currently sitting around 1 million. They have a pretty solid liquidity ratio around 25%, which is great to see. The one thing that really impressed me as we jumped onto the space with Patrick yesterday was the volume and the numbers that they've seen. So as I mentioned, a couple weeks old. We see how much people are kind of gravitating towards these sniping or these trading tools. You know, you think about Maestro and Banana on ETH. There's a couple that have kind of made a good presence on BSC. But when you're talking about these other layer twos, there's not really much. And these guys are kind of trying to grow and establish themselves as a first mover. They have over 4,000 users now. And as Patrick mentioned, they've seen 6 figures plus in volume. I think you guys, your top day was over 300,000 in one day. So that's really, really cool to see. They do have a bridge built into this, which again, I'm not going to get into the technical of how that works. And the other thing I like is, you'll hear throughout the presentation is as they build up the treasury component to the project, that's where the kind of the rev share or the benefit kind of starts to come back and trickle down to the holders. So I know everybody is always kind of talking about revenue, what you get as a holder for supporting, how you benefit as the team grows the ecosystem. We'll definitely cover that off throughout the AMA. We'll touch on everything, including the roadmap, what they just dropped recently, and some of the more basic stuff like the tokenomics, the tax, and what these guys are doing from a marketing perspective to get the brand out there. But Patrick, really excited, great start to the project. And I like what you guys are doing on a chain that has recently seen a nice uptick. So I'll pass you the mic and we'll jump into it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Maurice. Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick. I've been in the space for many, many years. I've ran development agencies to smart contract audit companies, helped with compliance all over the world with certain stable coins, and was introduced into DeFi in the summer of 2020. So I have a lot of experience with decentralized finance. I've been in crypto for many years before that. So I have a lot of experience and kind of been through it all, you could say. So kind of hoping to share some of that experience and knowledge with you guys and kind of give you guys a broad scope of what we're doing on the back end and kind of what our infrastructure, our scaling solution looks like for Solareum from our native bridge to our trading platform. So thank you for having me, Maurice, and looking forward to getting into it.
So why don't you go ahead and kind of give us a bit of a background for what led you as a team here to create Solareum, and like what was the vision for the solar token and everything that you guys are building here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Solana, right, is a layer 2. It's gained a lot of hype as of recently. It just surpassed BSC in daily volume with $510 million. We've seen airdrops scale on that platform, giving users more liquidity. We saw this is a prime example of knowing your history and kind of being in the space. And one of that is in 2020 in the fall, and about September 16th it was of 2020, Uniswap did their airdrop, right? The main foundation of that airdrop was to rival the stimulus checks that the United States government was giving out. The CEO of Uniswap, Hayden Adams, right, wanted to give all users an airdrop. And that was the first big decentralized exchange, right, airdrop. And for example, people made $10, $15, $20,000. And then shortly thereafter, Uniswap's was surpassed Coinbase, Binance, and all major exchanges in volume. So we saw kind of the switch of traffic and direction and liquidity into Solana as airdrops were being brought up, right? Because you have users with extra liquidity. We wanted to have a trading platform on that said chain, on the layer 2 of Solana, because Ethereum is kind of a saturated market for trading platforms, right? You have Maestro, you have Banana Gun, you have Unibond, you have so much more, but we haven't seen that implemented into Solana, a layer 2, right? And we realized if we're going to have a trading platform on the layer 2, we might as well have an easy, efficient, deep liquidity native bridge to get Ethereum users to Solana and vice versa. Therefore, we decided to build our own native bridge that uses APIs from centralized exchanges, has deep liquidity, and it takes about 180 seconds to get from ETH to Solana and vice versa. So that was kind of our vision and mission, right? In business, the thing that you want to do is make the consumer's life easier and simple, right? And we've done that by adding this native bridge because we've realized that's an issue from going to from Ethereum to Solana. And we've made it easier with creating this bridge where we streamline the process with the bridge that has deep, deep liquidity. And the reason why deep, deep liquidity is so important with the bridge, so you can bridge any amount, substantial amount, and not have so much slippage. So if you go to bridge $10,000, you're going to get $9,999 instead of $8,000 because you have deep, deep liquidity. So we've realized that business as a whole, right, is making the consumer's life easier. And we're doing that with the native bridge and the trading platform on Solana. And of course, garnering more visibility and exposure to bring on users that help the ecosystem as a whole.
That's really smart, right? And I know, one of the things we've also seen when we talked about the last couple of years in the space is some of the larger, news stories that seem to hit are these big exploits. So I know it's always a difficult task when you talk about building out a newer bridge from a security standpoint and getting people comfortable and trusting you guys in utilizing that. So like, what are some of the things you guys are doing to really push like the safety and ensuring that like people have that comfort? Because like, kind of like what I'm talking about, right? It's like
I know exactly what you're
in a
talking about.
group, and then all of a sudden a Watcher Guru article gets shared about some 100 million plus exploit on X bridge, right? So that for the space, and you guys have done a good job because, like you said, your volume is pretty good for less than 2 weeks old. But how have you done that job? Like, what are the safety aspects that have laid out that have given people that early trust?
Yeah, so safety and security when it comes to a bridge is absolutely crucial, right? Because the thing that gets hacked the most are two things, right? In my experience of running a smart contract audit company and doing hundreds and hundreds and thousands of smart contract audits are staking protocols and bridges. And one of the reasons you're actually going to laugh at this, and all 330 listeners are going to chuckle, is because a lot of the code is copy and paste. A lot of the code isn't original. And another reason is why is because when people get audits, they get automatic dynamic analysis. They don't get manual static testing, right? They don't get manual unit and regression tests with a well-written suite of those tests, right? They get automatic tests. Your bigger brands, right, are so overloaded with these audits and these security parameters that they just automatically run the audits, which is not safe at all, right? They do a very good job preliminary, but they don't get very deep into the code. So having an in-house, right, an in-house audit with a well-written suite of manual unit and regression tests, right, and also have an AES 512 encryption key, right, to make sure that the bridge is safe. Also keeping the bridge closed source, not open sourced, and also having APIs connected to centralized exchanges is absolutely crucial. And then also adding more and more liquidity. One of the best bridges out there is Synapses protocol, and it's because it has such deep, deep liquidity. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. And users have been very comfortable with the native bridge so far. We surpassed $100,000 worth of bridging volume, right? And have over 4,000 users within 9 days. So the metrics have definitely grown and scaled, and that's our number one goal, is to get more and more users on our platform and using the technical infrastructure we have to provide them.
Based on what you're saying and, listening to you, it does seem like you have a good knowledge and depth of time in the space, which is something people want to see because you've seen, probably other projects in the early stages who are trying to build up this type of tech and some of the missteps that they may have taken. And I always like to say to people who are project devs or founders or, active in the space, you don't always have to learn by failing yourself. You can, the nice thing about this space is there's so much reference data to point to on where things maybe went wrong. So what are you guys kind of modeling your bridge after? Is there any movers like or larger players in the space which you took some inspiration from? Because as I've seen recently, as Sol has picked up through like our private group and a few of the different rooms I'm in, there is not a ton of options when it comes to Solana and exchanging or bridging your funds over. And I know some of them struggle. I know people, one of the ones that seems more common is like the wallet-based exchanges and swaps, which I know a lot of people don't love them. So, I'm just kind of curious there.
Yeah, so absolutely. Like I said, the Ethereum marketplace for trading platforms is so saturated with so many competitors and people that have had early, were first movers advantage like Banana Gun or Unibot or Maestro, right, that have thousands and thousands of users. We realized that we can take kind of the inspiration from, for example, Banana Gun's sniping methods of it being automatic and apply that to a Solana trading platform, right? That has everything from a P&L card, from enhanced limit orders to its own contract scanner, right? To copy trade, to bundle transactions, right? To private wallets. And for us to have the most users for that trading platform, we realized that we should also market to the Ethereum marketplace and have them bridge, right? Using our bridge to get to the trading platform, right? So we create our own private looped closed environment, really, right? Our own ecosystem that people don't really need to go outhouse, and we have counterparty risk using other bridges or other trading platforms. Everything's in-house, right? Written originally and written from the back end with some of the best developers in the world. And I would say, inspiration wise, I think Synapses Protocol is one of the best bridges out there. I use them personally. I think they're fantastic. And when it comes to trading platforms, there's a lot of inspiration because other trading platforms have done fantastic. Trading bots, for example, right? Some of them have 40,000, 50,000 users on Ethereum. But like I said, it's a saturated market, and we realized that layer twos are going to start to pop off. And the reason why layer twos are going to start to pop off is the main reason is going to be airdrops and also gas fees. Ethereum gas fees are now 50 to 60 bucks for a swap, and it's only going to get worse as the Ethereum price rises because the EIP 1559 hasn't done much on the back end for gas fees, reducing. So gas fees are still going to be hectic, and people want to get off of that, and they don't want to spend $100 per swap. So they're going to Solana, which can, doesn't need a scaling or node solution to handle 700,000 transactions per second. So that's the reason, the inspiration. We realized that layer twos are going to get popular, and we realized that in the short term, and our roadmap that being multi-chain is going to also be crucial for us as well to build our user base.
And then when it comes to the actual like project and ecosystem, I want you to kind of transition the conversation for us into like the fees and how the bridge itself from a volume perspective are going to go back into like the treasury, and then how that's going to start benefiting like as you guys can scale the volume from that side of the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a very, very minimal fee on the trading platform and also on the native bridge. 0.75% is the fee, right? It's one of the lowest fees out there, if not the lowest. And it's an ever evolving ecosystem. So for example, let's say we get $100,000 worth of volume that goes to the native bridge, right? So we'll get 7,500 from fees, and then 60% of our revenue goes back to the holders, right? Let's say you hold zero. If you hold 0.5% of the supply or 5,000 Solarium, you are eligible for 60% of the revenue share. So 60% of all revenue goes back to our holders, right? So the more users we have, the more users that use the trading platform and the bridge, right, goes back to the treasury, and then 60% of that revenue share goes back to the holders. It's absolutely crucial, right? Because it incentivizes holders to hold more, for there to be more volume. When there's more volume, the treasury grows. As the treasury grows, right, the bandwidth of the protocol grows. We can scale development on the back end. We can scale the infrastructure. We can scale marketing, visibility, exposure, partnerships. We're able to grow from there endlessly. So kind of that's in a nutshell, that's the whole ecosystem and how it works.
So now I completely understand like the bridge side of the fees. Now, are you guys going to also be looking to take a fee or a small percentage through some of your different trading tools? And I know one of the more commonly used or asked about tools is a sniper, and you guys are just on the cusp, if not already within the last day or two, are kind of going to be integrating that into your existing bots. So I wanted to know about other fees that may come into play in the future or currently, and how that kind of goes into building the treasury as well. Because my next question is going to play off of like more of a revenue trigger or holding amount question.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, we just finished the sniping bot on the back end. For fee wise yet, we're not sure what we're gonna have fee wise for the sniping bot. We might start out with a 0% fee for the first few days to get users on it, because the users didn't get comfortable using it, and then might tack on a little bit of a fee that will go back to the treasury. But as of right now, that's not something that's absolutely crucial for us because we already have so much volume through the native bridge and through the trading platform that adding a fee to the bot might be unreasonable. We don't want to be unreasonable. We want to make sense. We want to be efficient. We don't want people to have issues with the fees, right? So as of right now, we haven't decided on anything concrete or tangible, but when we do, it will be announced. But as of right now, with the sniping fixtures just coming out and working cleanly and efficiently and it being a streamlined process, we'll kind of see. We'll see what the fee is, but nothing concrete yet, and might start at 0% to get more users.
Now, what I had mentioned before you kind of jumped into that was I wanted to know if there's any type of mechanism to trigger the revenue. Sometimes projects will do it via staking. Sometimes you'll have to hold a certain amount, either via supply or just tokens. So is there something that has to be done from a user standpoint or a holder standpoint to trigger and participate in that revenue sharing that's going to occur?
Absolutely. So it's automatic. So what that means is it's airdropped to your wallet. So if you hold 5,000, it's automatically airdropped to your wallet. You don't have to manually claim it. You don't have to stake. I'm not a big fan of staking. I think it's risk vector. So I think just having users hold them in their wallet and then automatically getting airdropped from the treasury, your revenue share, I think is absolutely crucial. It's an easy, streamlined process, and it makes it a lot easier, right, for users on the back end, and they don't have to mess with gas fees. We'll handle the gas fees for you guys. You're just holding your wallet.
Perfect. And with that being said, it's automatically dropping them like Sol, or how is that being done? Is it coming back in native, ETH, Sol?
It's gonna be coming back in. It's gonna be coming back in Ethereum. So
Okay,
because
cool. Yeah.
we're essentially we're Ethereum based, it's gonna be airdropped in Ethereum. And then if we open up and we switch to the Sol Bridge and have more users there, then we could talk about it. But right now it's going to be in Ethereum.
And no, the reason why I was asking that is because sometimes if you're, I don't want it to be native token, as you mentioned, risk for staking. It seems like you have a good handle on the risk, and obviously anything to do with native token just adds more pressure on a chart. So you don't want to add that stress into your life. But what you could do is if you did have that Solana side, right, with your token being Sol based, and obviously you guys trying to push and be a first mover on that chain, if you're allowing more people to be rewarded in Sol, it's going to ultimately drive a little bit more chain value for you guys. So yeah, like if that could occur in the future, I think it's a good fit just to kind of get people, maybe if they're not a big user, they don't have a ton of Sol, like it could slowly build up that stockpile for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We totally agree with you 100%, right? The first revenue share, we want it to be big. We want it to be impactful. We want people to be like, oh, wow, these guys are, doing a lot and yield wise, right? A lot of volume. And we want to airdrop them first in Ethereum. And then if need be, then if we switch to multi-chain, right, we can then do Sol in any layer 2, and that will actually be more efficient and gas fee wise than it will be on Ethereum. And it's a great idea.
I like that. I like that. And yeah, no, it's very chain specific, right? And it helps to promote and grow Sol. And obviously, as you guys are trying to be a first mover, the more users that come over and maybe start to tell their friends and adopt that chain, as they get more accustomed to the chain, you know how it works, right? You just kind of get your feet wet first, and you're like, well, now how can I do it better? And tools like this are how people kind of go on that secondary leg of learning on how to do stuff better and more efficiently. So I think it's well thought out from your end. Now, I do want to go and talk into like the trading suite that you guys are building up here with your bot, and what type of features, and this is really where I want to go into like the UI and user experience discussion with you about like the actual tech and what you guys are, have right now that's functioning within the trading tool. And then some of the features that you guys are, we always touch on the sniper, but some of the additional features that are set to come. Because as we know, there's a lot of these tech out there, not so much on Solana, but there's a lot of tech, and I really want to know what you guys are doing to get the best user experience so that a team can't just come along and essentially copy and paste what you're trying to do and create another bot on this chain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the features we have four main features right now. And the number one is utilizing rapid RPCs for instantaneous fetching. So RPCs is, of course, the relationship between the server and the client. So it's a dedicated process runner for every client, ensures no lags or bottlenecks. It provides a seamless trading experience. And then also number two is an MEV protection, right, which stands for minor extractable value protection. So what that is sandwich bots, right? Bots that front run you. So we have that protection that secures your transactions from pretentious, malicious activities, such as getting front ran, and it achieves optimal trade execution without the fear of being front ran or having your transactions reordered. And then third, we have bundle transactions, right? So what that looks like, it's ideal for users with multiple wallets. So a feature allows for the simultaneous sniping across various wallets, up to 9. So you can snipe with 9 different wallets at once, different protocols, the same protocol, whatever your heart desires. Number 4 is private transactions, because privacy in DeFi is, the number one thing. That's why we're in DeFi, is because of privacy, right? And it's decentralized. So you're able to execute your trades without revealing your strategies or moves to the public. It ensures your transactions remain confidential and your trading strategies proprietary. So those are 4 main features right now. And then the few features we're adding to this month is a P&L card, right? So it shows your profit that you've had through the bot through each wallet. So it's going to be a Dune dashboard. We're going to be upgrading nodes so that the bot's faster than ever. And also we're adding an enhanced limit order and have a limit book, an order book for you, right? So it's going to be a trading suite and a trading platform.
So now, how are you guys like? For me, that's great variety of tools for people, and a lot of extra value that they could do to make it easier to track and kind of follow their trades. But what are you guys going to do from like the education onboarding? Is there like a customer service tab that somebody would be able to click up within the bot? Like, just if somebody had a question, like how easy is it for them to get an answer and get some support when they're setting themselves up?
Yeah, so we have our own support channel, right? We have our own support channel, and then we also have tutorial videos coming out, and we also have a step-by-step guide. So if someone has a specific question, they can go to the support channel, right? It's very similar to customer service. We have our developers in there, walking people through the steps, step by step, making sure that they have the easiest, experience with the bot. And then, of course, you talked about UI, UX, and that infrastructure and the front end experience is absolutely crucial as well, making it so simple, right? Because we've seen bots that are really complex. People don't understand how to use them. But our goal was to make it as simple as possible. And you can see that through our bot. We've already done $300,000 worth of volume through our trading bot on Solana. So people have found it simple and efficient. And, what we're concerned about, or our priority is upgrading the infrastructure on the back end, right? And if you have 3,500 users on there at once, you have to upgrade the technical infrastructure and the scaling solution and the nodes and the RPCs so you can handle the inflow. Once you can handle the inflow and you upgrade the infrastructure, then you can take on 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 users and, grow that revenue and grow the treasury and the bandwidth of the protocol.
No, again, the kind of the timelines and like the way you're laying everything out makes sense. Now, we've seen a big catalyst a lot of the times for these trading tools is integration into not only different communities, but different like call channels, whale groups and stuff like that. So what are you doing to really push like the integration for different communities with your bot and your sniper as it comes out? And then like essentially like what's the mutual benefit? Like why would somebody choose to implement the Solarium bot into their community? Like because that's always, with so many options out there, what's the reason for them to pull you guys into their room and add you guys into that maybe one, two, three, four, five bots that are already, existing?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have the first point of kind of visibility and exposure. So key opinion leaders, influencers, marketers, whatever you want to call them, are great kickstarters. I love to call them great kickstarters. Longevity, sustainability wise, not so fantastic. So calls, marketers, influencers are great kickstarters to get you liquidity, capital right off the bat, so you can then expand development, marketing, and things of that nature. And then for long-term sustainable growth, you want to look at integrations and collaborations with other like-minded protocols that have that user base and that community that is going to use your bot, right? And that makes sense on the back end as a technical integration and also as a marketing collaboration. So we have some partnerships. We just partnered with Ribbit on Solana. They have 5,500 holders, so 5.5 thousand holders. They're like a $4 million market capitalization protocol. They have a lot of users, right, on Solana, that is. So we have just implemented our native bridge into their platform, right? We've given that meme protocol or that protocol that didn't have any utility. We just gave them utility. And the reason why a protocol, a community, whatever you want to say, will use our bot instead of another protocol, it's two reasons. One is efficiency and another one is safety and security. So efficiency is when you're using other bots, it might not be as simple to use that bot, right? Their UX, UI experience might be more complex. And also with our bot or using any decentralized exchanges or ones that have trouble with their UI, UX, is when you trade, let's say through Radium or another bot, it usually goes A, B, C. C being the smart contract you're trying to interact with directly to swap, buy, or sell. A being where you're at. And what that looks like, right, when you're using our bot is you go from A to C. So you're dealing directly to the smart contract, right? So instead of going A, B, C, you're going A to C. And then the second reason I said safety and security is we have an AES 512 encryption key, which is the most secure and private encryption key. So we don't have any external risk vectors, especially when it comes to smart contracts functionality and verification, right? And then also another thing we'll be adding into our native bridge is we're using APIs from centralized exchanges for our live price feeds. And we're also exploring the fact of using Chainlink's oracles because Chainlink's oracles are really the foundation of decentralized finance. Chainlink rose to popularity in the spring of 2020. And then after that, the total value locked of DeFi skyrocketed because they provide off-chain data on-chain. And we realized that we can implement their oracles into our live price feeds of our bot through, like I said, their oracles of them providing us data, being our data provider, and also using their verifiable random function. And that's a technical integration that will be absolutely exquisite. And also it'd be a co-marketing collaboration with a $1 billion company or a $10 billion company. That would be absolutely fantastic, right? Blogs, article, Twitter spaces, AMAs, and getting exposure to their community as well. So like I said, we have the efficiency, safety, security, and also going to have top tier data providers.
I think it's really smart. And from the data side, like the API providers that you guys are going to use, I have to do a quick plug for my partners at CoinMerge with Web3 Shards, like the guys that we just were on the space yesterday. They do a data program and they're in the beta phases right now. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. So if you want, Patrick, I can put you in touch with those guys. And I mean, they're doing some good work there. So yeah, we'll connect that behind the scenes. And also I'm going to talk to the speaker for that Myro project on Sol, and I'll see, what they're doing in terms of integration for bots and stuff. So I can always connect you there.
Fantastic. Love it
too. Yeah. So just side note with those 2 points, but getting back to more so the discussion on the project, I think what you mentioned is really smart. How you guys plan to, start with the calls and stuff, but the collaborations with different projects longer term and pushing like the Solana layer 2 ecosystem, I think is really going to help because again, the more users, I said it earlier, the more users that just come to Sol in general and then start looking for those tools. Well, if you can get a good foothold in with your brand and your name, well, they're going to come to you as one of their first looks, right? So that is something that, is extremely important. I come from like a marketing and branding was my favorite part of marketing. So I'm all about kind of how you can grow your brand and your name out there. So no, that's really cool. Now the actual token itself, we haven't spent much time on that. So I wanted to go, and I always call it the more basic discussion, but it's just like wanted you to walk us through what the tokenomics look like, the tax on the token, if there is any, and then again.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the token side, it's extremely simple. It's 10 million circulating, right? Fully diluted. Tax wise, it's 6% sell, 1% buy, right? Nothing too crazy, very typical. Helps us, build our treasury and grow the protocol. And yeah, it's very simple, simplistic, right? We're not really too worried about short-term price action, the volatility of the price. So we're just focused on building the users, growing the user base, growing the ecosystem, making sure we can handle 5,000 users at once from a technical infrastructure standpoint. So yeah, it's fully diluted, 10 million circulating supply, and all the tokens are out there living their life. So 1% buy tax and 6% sell tax.
Perfect. And then just within the distribution of the taxes, like what did the percentages just go back to feeding within the ecosystem?
Yeah, so what the taxes look like are, or what the percentages look like accordingly, is 3% going to marketing, 3% going into development. So really they go focus back and they get re-rolled into the protocol, right? We just re-roll the revenue into the protocol to scale it. And we realize that when the team as a whole doesn't hold any tokens, we make our money solely off the volume, right? The volume and also the revenue that goes to the trading platform and the bridge, right? We want to be extremely transparent about that. We do not hold anything, right? We make the money off of the volume that goes through the protocol, the bridge, and the trading platform. That's it. So it's really benefits, everyone in the protocol for us to get more users and not worry about short-term price action.
Smart answer. Again, really, you're very articulate, and I think it's been enjoyable kind of getting to understand more about the project and what you guys are doing now. Marketing is a big thing. You talked on some of the tools that you're going to use through partnerships and collaborations, but what are you going to do from a revenue standpoint when it comes to marketing? So one of the things I like about these, some of these other, bots or charting tools that exist is they allow for revenue to come into the project through advertisement. On their bots. So like, what are you guys doing? Is that something you guys are also going to add in to just further grow the treasury, or maybe you guys can utilize those funds for different purposes within the ecosystem as they grow?
Yeah, so as marketing, as you were saying, branding's the best thing usually. It's the most fun, right? And those ads do work, and sometimes they're hit and miss. But the thing from my experience, from the team's experience, the most crucial thing when it comes to marketing and getting exposure and visibility is adding tech in your utility to other protocols and communities, right? That have a user base that's going to use it. And it typically in different niches, right? It works. For example, the one we did with Ribbit on Solana, massive community, close to 6,000 users, $4 million market capitalization, no utility. Now they have utility due to our native bridge, right? That's great exposure for us, right? That's great visibility. We're able to build the user base from a technical integration like that. We also have a partnership with Uni Terminal coming out, right? On their browser or their browser extension, you're going to be able to trade with Solareum just with a few clicks. And those integrations that build the user base and get us more visibility is crucial, like I've said previous times. And when you're usually partnering with a protocol, you want the protocol to be a little bit bigger than you are, right? So we're about a $2 million, $1.5 million market capitalization. You want to partner with someone who's at 4 million, 5 million, and has a certain amount of holders, right? That 4,000 holders that are really paying close attention to the protocol. Then you're going to be able to siphon some of those users over to your tech, to your utility, and to what you're producing. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
It does. And again, you know what? Like, I am pretty impressed by the level of thought that seems to have gone into this, and it's good market movement too. Like, you guys were smart in terms of when this was released. So development wise, like, how much time went into building this prior to the token actually launching on the 30th of November? Because yeah, like, I've talked to a lot of teams, sometimes teams are a month or two in, and I'll say like their answers are not even as good as the ones you're giving. You guys aren't even 2 weeks old yet. So it does seem like there's a lot of planning put into this, and and you do seem like the markets quite well, which is refreshing from my side. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, just kind of interesting question. I know not your traditional question, I'm sure.
So how much time kind of went into the protocol
Yeah,
and,
like how long have you guys been building this up on the back end? Have you just kind of been sitting on this waiting for Solana to see an uptick and see some of that positivity start to come back? Or was this something that maybe you guys were, again, holding on to some of the tech and just waiting for one of these layer twos to pop so you guys could act as a first mover? It just seems like the market, just the time to enter the market and the pop on Solana is just very well timed out. That's all.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys all a little alpha here to all 340 listeners. So when it comes to the bear market, we talked about earlier, Maurice, in this AMA about a time where it seemed like everything was dying, right? Luna, FTX, Celsius, Gary Gensler becoming the head of the SEC. It was just doomsday. So when things like that happen, it creates a year of where you can just build and have so much tech on the back end that once something pops off, you already have tech for that layer 2, that layer 1, for that niche that's popping off, right? You have so much overhaul of infrastructure that you're able to produce it in the perfect timing. And the way you're able to kind of have that perfect timing or know when to time the market is having experience in the marketplace, right? So I've been in DeFi now for over 3 years. I've been involved with lots of protocols. I've seen thousands of protocols. I've known thousands of developers. I've seen it all, right? And nothing gives you better timing or having timing in the market by having experience in the market itself, right? Going through the trenches and learning it firsthand. So having an overhaul of technical infrastructure that you built during the quote unquote the dead time of crypto and DeFi and kind of the market, banks were going under, centralized exchanges were going under, pension funds were getting hit by Celsius, right? That's when you build, and then you know that it's all a cycle. It's a circle. It's a cycle. It's going to come back. Liquidity always comes back. We've seen it year after year, and you're ready for the next market of that liquidity inflow, the retail inflow to produce the infrastructure you've been holding on to for a set amount of time, right? So with Solana, we've seen an uptick in it, right? Uptick in liquidity, we've seen the writing on the wall. So it's time for us to release the product that we built, a long time ago. So that's kind of how it works. It's kind of a trick that, I learned years ago, is that you got to have a lot of technical infrastructure kind of in the behind the scenes and produce it in the perfect timing.
Very appreciate the alpha, man. We're talking about growth and adoption and scaling. Another tool that projects have used, and it's something that you guys are also utilizing, is referrals, right? And almost having those that utilize the tool early and get in, act as an ambassador, and then also receive some form of benefit through like referral links. So how do you guys use those? Like, what's the ratio where people receive that reward? I always kind of say, a 5-to-1, a 10-to-1 benefit for the project is phenomenal. And then it's still a great, it's not too high of a ratio that, people will feel discouraged, like they won't be able to hit the milestones.
Yeah, so for referral links, right, it has to be with something that has utility and that produces. So with our referral link, right, it's 10% commission for, an average referral link for someone to produce it out, right? For protocols, it can depend on how many people they're putting it in front of, right? But referral links is a great way to build a user base and incentivize individuals to spread the word, right? It's kind of the modern day of what did I say? It's kind of word of mouth. It's the modern day word of mouth marketing is referral links, right? Because you're utilizing the community and incentivizing them to spread the word and grow the ecosystem. So kind of hopefully that answers your question a little bit. I'm not usually typically a big fan of referral links, right? Because you can kind of see them used in interesting ways when you hear about referral links. They don't, seem to have the best reputation in decentralized finance protocols. But if you have utility and it gives them access to a trading platform, to a bridge that makes their life easier, then it's all the more better.
Yeah, I think your answer again, just you're really good on the mic with your responses because I would agree 100% in that sense that a lot of times, the way, when I'll use the move to earn uh trend as probably the worst usage of referral links, right? Because it's like, sign up for this protocol, take steps, and everybody's going to get paid just for taking steps or moving around and doing this. And I'm like, dude, there's no way any of these protocols can sustain any of that at all. So all these projects are going to die. But and like the thing with your project and referral links is, as you said earlier, you guys benefit as a team and as a project when volume happens. So if the referral links are utilized for people to generate volume, and then people are taking a percentage of the volume that would not be there without that referral potentially, it's essentially you're giving them a piece of something versus nothing of nothing. So yeah, in this situation, you hit the nail right on the head with your response. It works because of how the project's set up and the fact that ultimately the referral would lead to volume generation, which is the goal and benefits the ecosystem. So why not give them a small piece of that? Because maybe that volume wouldn't be there to begin with. So yeah, great answer for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it only works when there's utility and not vaporware, right? We've seen a lot of referral links involved with certain schemes and staking protocols or things that just kind of recycle the same old volume from initial participants. And right, so that's why referral links kind of have a, not a great reputation. But when you have utility, right, and it creates volume that's beneficial for everyone in the protocol, then it's a different animal.
Smart response, man. I agree with you 100%. I'm not the biggest fan. I've seen them way too overutilized, but I come from traditional marketing and brand development, and yeah, they're good if you have a value to gain and offer at the same time, and not all projects in this space do. So cool. I don't want to spend more time on that. Now, going through the roadmap, I know most people expect, like myself included, I'm expecting maybe for about a 2-week period from let's just say December 20th until early January. It might slow down a little bit, right? Everybody's focused more on the holiday seasons. You're traveling, you're spending time with family, this, that, you're not working. Maybe you drop like 15 to 20 grand on Christmas presents and you're like, I don't know if I want to, ape some degens or, trade that much. So I'm going to kind of slow down. I'm expecting the markets to take a little bit of a turn before 2024 and it starts to pick up again. So like, what are you guys going to do just to make sure the community stays engaged over the holidays? Because you said it, you guys don't care about short-term price action. I don't really care about short-term price action. I never have, but you want to still have the community positivity high and the hype there. Necessarily, if it reflects on the chart, I'm not too concerned, but you just want the attitude in a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. We realized, from December, I would say from December 18th to January 3rd or 4th, a lot of people are going to be taking time off, spending time with their families and kind of taking a step back. And from there, we'll just keep building and developing and coming out with new features and our updates, right? Our enhanced limit orders, our copy trade features. We'll be updating the website. We'll have enhanced position tracking. And then, of course, right, heading into February and in January, we'll have, looking to go multi-chain and one-click cloud trading. And, we can't really control what other people do, right? We can't really control that. We can keep them engaged through updating and upgrading the infrastructure, right? Coming out with new features, keeping them enticed in our product. But we realized that there's going to be kind of a pause in the market. I won't say there won't be a dip or a pump. It'll just be kind of a pause, a very stalemate type of move where everything kind of goes sideways and there's limited volume. But in a time like that, you can spend a lot of time and focus on the back end of, updating your technical infrastructure, your scaling solutions, your nodes, enhanced limit orders, and kind of those features that differentiates Solarium to other protocols, to other trading platforms, to other bridges. So we'll take our time and do that, and it'll be a perfect balance of family, development, cookies and milk, and Santa Claus.
I like it. Keep them active, keep working on the back end development. Utility-based projects, again, it's more important that the tech is delivered than, I've seen too many people try and, chase a chart when you're building a utility, and 9.8 times out of 10, it doesn't really work out the way the teams hope it would. So I love that response. Just stay active. You guys may have some fun little contests you drop, organically for the community throughout. Who knows? I know people love to have fun during Christmas. So yeah, man, again, I do like what you guys are doing. We kind of hit on a couple of the key pieces, right? It's growing users, which is in turn going to grow volume. As we talked about the branding and the marketing aspect, it kind of goes right back to those points. You go out there, increase your visibility through your partnerships, through the different integration into different groups that have, those holder counts that you're looking for, because those play into exactly what you said, users and volume. And that benefits the treasury, and then those rewards go back to benefiting holders. So, I mean, the cycle that you guys are trying to build makes sense. Your answers are, solid, well thought out. It definitely seems like you have a good handle of market conditions. I love your response when it comes to the timing and when you guys chose to jump in with Solarium here. So Solana as a layer 2 right now. I'll touch on it one more time, just surpassed PSC on volume. And that's kind of interesting to see, and, kind of cool to be a part of it, because we started as a channel as primarily on Binance, trading BSC projects. So yeah, just, as always, guys, jump into the community. I would say check out the bot. Maybe if you're looking to jump into a Solana project or bridge some funds, some ETH over to Sol, like jump into the community, ask some questions, see if you can get some help. But I would say check out the tech and join the community, and just continue to do your research and keep your eyes on it, because if we've hosted a lot of AMAs, we don't give financial advice, but what I will say is your answers were very well detailed, very well thought out, and I said it before, refreshing to chat with you about the project. So that's kind of my job, is just to break it down and give my feedback when I think somebody's doing a good job, which you definitely did. So again, guys, just make sure that you're over in the Solarium community. Those who are maybe getting more active on Solana itself, use the tech. That's the best way you're going to get a feel for it. And then once you know how it works, you can feel more comfortable talking about it, and as well. So yeah, anything else that you guys wanted to add in? Any maybe exciting news coming up for the weekend, for early next week? Like when can people start to expect the sniper to be utilized? Like, anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap this? And
yeah, so we have some huge partnership announcements coming out this weekend, hopefully, and rolling into next week. We're in some conversations with some big integrations and collaborations on the back end that we're extremely excited about, and we'll make a detailed announcement when those are live, and then we'll keep rolling out more and more features. But yeah, I think we covered everything from pillar to post. The sniping feature is now available and for use. Our enhanced contract scanner for Solana protocols is now live. We linked that in a tweet we just posted, and it's also in our Telegram. So thank you, Maurice, for having us and for having me. It was a great AMA. I think a lot of the people here probably enjoyed it. Hopefully enjoyed it. And we'll take a deeper dive into what we're producing, what we're building. And yeah, thank you for hosting a great AMA. It was extremely, beneficial. I think an hour is perfect. It's short, concise, concrete, tangible, and to the point. And yeah, thank you for having us.
yeah, again, it was really a pleasure. Seems like you guys have a good handle, impressive users. Volume seems to be growing, 100K daily, then 200K, and you guys just pushed 300K. So again, really, really cool to see that it's progressive upticks on like the metrics and the KPIs that you care about, not so much the chart, right? So Yeah, really good job. Great presentation. We'll chat DMs. I'll make a couple of those introductions to a few of my contacts at different projects. And maybe if you guys need some more data support, I can put you in touch with the team from CoinMerge. Those guys are always happy to help. Um, yeah, but again, you're really good AMA. But yeah, other than that, man, it's really good. And I'll help connect you guys. Do your research, obviously. I've definitely enjoyed the AMA today with Patrick. Really refreshing to talk to him. Great answers. The project's been doing well. Solana's popping off. It's a good time to kind of check out a project like this, as people I've seen 100+ messages in the private group about, what's the best bridge, how to use the funds for Solana. I want to try to start playing some of these soul plays. Well, we just had the chance to AMA one. I know a bunch of the people in the private group were talking about it throughout. So yeah, I just wanted to say, Patrick, thank you for coming by, and we'll be in touch in DMs, and I'll see if I can connect you with a couple people.
Sounds exquisite. Sounds
Awesome,
impressive.
man. You
Sounds
have
very nice.
yourself a great rest of your Friday, and enjoy the weekend.